So, today I'm going to talk to you about a book series. It's called the Septimus Heap books. You may or may not know what it actually is. So, I'm going to tell you before we start. Warning, this video can, will, and probably will contain spoilers. So, the Septimus Heap books are written by an author called Angie Sage. Angie Sage is like English. There's currently 6 books in the series with a 7th one coming out in April, which I'm super excited for. So the first 6 are in this order: Magic, Flight, Physic, Quest, Siren, Dark, and the 7th one will be Fire after it comes out. So I guess I'm going to give you like a plot summary or something of them. So here we go. I'm going to give it like all 6 and talk about them and my opinions and stuff. So it begins with Silas Heap. He's the father of Septimus Heap, who the series is named after. And it begins with him coming home through the winter snow, which is it's preceding what is called the Big Freeze in this series. When he's walking, because he's an ordinary wizard. Ordinary wizards, he can feel a heartbeat in the snow through his magic, and he's not a particularly good wizard, so it's very faint for him. And when he follows it, he finds a baby girl who's got violet eyes, and she's been abandoned in the snow, or that's what he thinks. The Silas already has 7 children, all of them boys. He thinks that another one's not going to hurt and that his wife won't really care. He hides his baby and continues his journey home. However, the who is currently the apprentice to the extraordinary wizard, or so he thinks still at that stage, Marcia, she warns him that he can't tell anyone about the baby. I think her exact words like, "Tell no one you found her. She was born to you. Understand?" Yeah, and Silas agrees, and then he finds out that Marcia has succeeded her mentor, so she's become the new extraordinary wizard, which he didn't know about that beforehand. So he continues his walk home, and he brings his wife the child. When he gets there, he sees the midwife run out with a bundle of cloth, crying that his newborn baby, Septimus, the 7th son of a 7th son, which in this world is a big thing, is dead, and that his wife, Sarah, decides to raise the baby girl in the place of Septimus as if it was their own daughter, and they named the daughter Jenna. A long time later, Sarah learns from her friend, who runs a cafe, that the Queen got assassinated, and then the castle is under the control of the Supreme Custodian. The Custodians are a group of guards, I guess, that did sort of take care of the castle, although as you find out later in the series, they're rather evil. And so they also find out that the Queen's newborn daughter went missing. And the friend also tells her that the assassination had occurred months beforehand, so like a long time ago, like 6 months or whatever, but had been kept a secret. So, and then she also mentioned that it happened around the time Arthur Miller, which was the extraordinary wizard before Marcia, had been killed. Then Sarah realizes that Jenna is the missing princess and decides to keep it a secret from everyone. So then it jumps 9.5 years, so it jumps to Jenna's 10th birthday with her parents and her 6 other brothers, so they're like singing happy birthday and stuff. But Marcia decides to go and interrupt the party for some reason, telling the family that another woman who lives next door, her name's Linda Lane, is a spy and has confirmed that Jenna is the Queen's daughter. So Marcia essentially takes Jenna in safekeeping because the assassin's on their way to kill Jenna again. And Sarah agrees, and yeah. And Marcia takes Jenna away to the Wizard Tower, which is where all the wizards reside, where she can be kept safe for a little bit. She also finds a boy who's part of the Young Army, which is something, basically, orphans, unwanted people, and people they want to take away. They put them in the Young Army, and the girls have an equivalent thing, but I can't exactly remember the name. So, and she finds that he got buried in the snow and he almost died. So this boy, 412, who turns out to be, spoiler alert, Septimus Heap, he's rescued by Marcia and is taken into the apartment to warm up. But the assassin, who's like the head hunter, so he's a pretty skilled huntsman, manages to locate Jenna and goes after her. Nico, who's the youngest of the brothers other than Septimus, and their dog Silas and Nico, like I just said, Nico's the youngest, and Maxie also, Maxie's the dog, decide to pay Jenna a visit. Shortly after they arrive, Arthur Miller, the ghost, because they have ghosts in this world, warns Marcia that the assassin's right outside. So Marcia panics and gets everyone out of the tower through the rubbish chute. She tells Silas to do a cleaning spell, but he doesn't. And the group ends up in the dump with the hunter, like, really close to them. So Marcia clogs the chute, like, by putting all the rubbish back in to make it look like they got stuck. But in the night, Sally Mullen, who's Sarah's friend who owns that cafe, she noticed them. So Silas tells her about what happened, because Sally thought that Silas was cheating on Sarah. And yeah, when Sally allows them to use her sailboat, it's called Muriel, to escape. Then Marcia gives Sally a keep safe charm, which is supposed to keep her safe. And yeah, so then the hunter reaches the dump and spends quite a while unclogging the chute. After sending one of his expendables, which are the lowest ranked people, so I guess like a private in the army, he sends them to make sure they're not in there, and then he looks for anyone who may have seen them escape. He notices Sally and confronts her. He's like, blah, 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 blah. She denies knowing anything, but her actions, like, she's all, I don't know. Then he threatens to burn down her cafe until she confesses. She still refuses, but one of her customers, who's a northern trader, they come down. They were the last ones. Rats out Marcia's group, and the huntsman allows the customer and his friends to leave before he burns the cafe down. He locks Sally inside and sets the building on fire, which is a terrible thing to do. But Sally survives, probably because of Marcia's keep-safe charm. The assassin follows the group, heading for the Marram Marshes, which is Silas's aunt or some sort of relative. Zelda lives. His men manage to catch up with the sailboat, but are unable to see them through the thick fog that Marcia created herself. That's a hex fog if I've ever seen one. Boy 412 kicks because he thinks that the wizards are holding him captive rather than saving him, and he also thinks that might be a crazy way for the young army to assess him, because they have these things called do or die tests, where you either do a test or you die. Jenna, who's stronger than 412, manages to keep him quiet, but he kicks the boat and alerts the hunter where the boat is. Marcia uses a reverse spell to project the Muriel. Reverse is like dark magic. It's not a good thing. And it distracts the hunter, so they can escape, and then the hunter loses the trail and has to return to the castle. Then the group reaches the Marram Marshes and must navigate through the bogs, and then they reach a safe place, which is Aunt Zelda's cottage. She's a white witch, which is a good one. Zelda is Silas's aunt, which would make her Jenna's great aunt. The witch keeps everyone safe and well fed throughout the big freeze and the winter, and yeah, they learn that the Supreme Custodian is doing Dom Daniel's bidding, who was the extraordinary wizard before Alpha, but he has some like long life thing, which basically means he's living forever, eternal middle age. But he needs to kill Jenna before he can return to the castle to rule. On the island, this is while they're stuck there, Boy 412 wanders around the marshes, falls into a pit with a large cavern, tunnel, and all sorts of things, and he finds a ring that glows when he places on his finger. He finds out later that it's Hotep Ra's dragon ring. He keeps the ring a secret for a while until Aunt Zelda finds out. Marcia then walks with Boy 412, who's starting to like the Heap family, and shows him a charm that Alpha gave to her when he offered her to be his apprentice. She sees that Boy 412 has potential to be her apprentice and asks him to do so, but he refuses. Aunt Zelda also helps Jenna, Nico, and Boy 412 make shield bugs to protect themselves. Shield bugs, you go out, find bugs, you do a preserve charm on them, and then basically they fight to their death, or until you get them back in the jar, but people can't really do that. Marcia then tries to use her midnight minutes, which the minutes either side of midnight are thought to be the safest time to travel, when she goes back to the Wizard Tower because of a letter from Silas saying that she should go back, but then she gets captured by the custodian guards because the time is mucked up at Aunt Zelda, so she got the minutes wrong and she was like 20 minutes late or something. Then a few more weeks pass until the hunter discovers the group's location in the marshes, and then he tries to assassinate Jenna. Again, then they defend themselves by using the shield bugs, and Aunt Zelda uses a freezing spell on the hunter. Soon after the hunter was frozen, they try to figure out the identity of Dom Daniel's apprentice, who claims to be Septimus when they capture him, but we all know he's not. Nico denies it after seeing what treachery the apprentice could do. Then the apprentice escapes and tells Dom Daniel where they are. Ugh. Yeah, that's some stuff. And also, while the hunter's got the freezing spell on him, they redo his life story, so he's been like bullied, and so they think his greatest life's ambition is to become a circus buffoon. So, a bit after, yeah. Then Aunt Zelda gives Boy 412 a book with the legend of Hotep Ra. It says that Hotep Ra, who is the first extraordinary wizard, was being pursued by people planning to kill him. Therefore, the dragon transformed itself into a boat to save her master, and before Hotep Ra died, he put the boat in his hidden temple. Afterwards, Boy 412 soon begins to become interested in the art of magic and the mysteries surrounding it. Yeah, and then, Boy 412 goes to the cave again, and then he finds the dragon boat, which is Hotep Ra's dragon as a boat, and it's not a myth, basically. So then the boat is used by Boy 412, Nico, and Jenna in order to save Marcia and stop Dom Daniel from being the extraordinary wizard again, which he's evil, so you don't want that. The boat somehow talks to Jenna inside her head, because it can do that to princesses and queens and stuff, and Boy 412, only him can make it fly and steer it. He can do it because he's wearing the dragon ring, of course. They rescue Marcia, no, not that big, not because of the dragon ring, actually he wasn't wearing that at the time, he'd given it to Marcia. But he can make it fly for some reason. And then they rescue Marcia, who had managed to stay alive in dungeon number 1, which is not a good thing either, thanks to Hotep Ra's ring, which Septimus had given her, so obviously he wasn't wearing it. Boy 412 agrees to become Marcia's apprentice. Then they throw Dom Daniel overboard, and he dies, sort of, after creatures attack him. Later, the Heap family discover during the apprentice banquet, which they have to have, otherwise the contract is void and you can't make it again, that Boy 412 is really Septimus Heap, the 7th son of a 7th son. This is because the midwife secretly worked for Dom Daniel, so Dom Daniel needed a powerful apprentice, and Septimus, who was the 7th son of a 7th son, would be born with great abilities, because that was like the thing in their world. Being a 7th son didn't make him more powerful, but being the 7th son of a 7th son did. But the midwife pretended Septimus was dead. She put chloroform or something on him and smuggled him to the young army, where another one of Dom Daniel's workers was supposed to take the baby. But the midwife's own child was enlisted in the army, and she places Septimus in a cradle next to his. Dom Daniel's worker accidentally takes the midwife's child, which she had picked up after, leaving Septimus to be raised in the young army as Boy 412 instead. Sarah takes off Septimus's hat, like at the end of the book, to reveal a thick bush of golden locks, the signature Heap trait, and lovingly accepts Septimus as her long-lost son. That's the first book, and this video has gone for a rather long time. I didn't think it would take me this long to sum up just the first book, but so I'll do the others in individual videos, but before I end this particular video, I'm just going to give you basic descriptions of most of the characters. So, Septimus Heap was believed to have died when he was young, as I told you, and he's the 7th son of a 7th son. Boy 412 is Septimus Heap. Marcia Overstrand, so she's the current extraordinary wizard, and she has these purple paraffin skin shoes, and is known for her short temper as well as some other things. So she gets angry easily, and Terry something or other, Terry Tassel I think it is, he's the shoemaker, and yeah. Zelda Zanuba Heap, her middle name's Zanuba. She's the keeper, which is a position which you'll find out more about probably in a later video, also known as Aunt Zelda. Silas Heap's the dad, Sarah Heap's the mum, then there's Simon, Sam, Eric, Ed, Jojo, Nico, and Jenna, technically, although they're not really related to her. Then there's Marin Meredith, who is the nurse's son. Then there's Stanley, which is a rat, which I didn't tell you about. Oh, I feel like a terrible person now, but he's a message rat, and I'll tell you about message rats maybe in a separate video in between these two. And he's a long-distance message rat, and he was fired and later became a secret rat in a later book. Then there's Dom Daniel, who's a necromancer, bad wizard, and the extraordinary wizard. He's the main bad character in this first book. Then there's Arthur Mellor, which, yeah, I've already told you about. Galen, who is Sarah Heap's friend. She lives in the woods, and yeah. Then Maxie, whose full name is Maximilian. He's a wolfhound that belongs to the Heaps and doesn't have a particular part in the book, but yeah, he doesn't get along with him. When Jenna, I haven't told you about this character either. There's Pet Rock Trelawney, which Jenna receives as a birthday present from her 10th birthday, and it's a pet rock, so she tickles it on her hand and it turns over. Yeah, that's all you really need to know about Septimus Heap, the first book in the series, Magyk. That was a really long video. If you made it all the way to the end, leave a comment about something. Your favourite book. Leave a comment about your favourite book and explain it somehow. Leave a video response if you want. So, until next time, I've been Paige, you've been you, we've all been awesome.